Hello and welcome to another exciting podcast episode of Westies and Besties. Today joining us, we're really over the moon because she is giving so much back to the Westie and also the Scotty community here. So with me today is Sharon, and Sharon is part of founder of Westies and Scotties that need help and rehoming rescue. What they do is absolutely tremendous. So, Sharon, great. Thank you very much for joining us today.
Hi. Thanks for inviting me.
You're very welcome. How's things? Good?
Yeah, good. Thank you. Busy, but good. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, all good.
So, if like we do with all our guests, if you just give us a bit of a background, history about yourself, where do you come from, what your background has been, and where you are in the world?
Okay. Right. Well, the rescue is based in Liverpool. We don't have kennels or anything like that. It's all run from the house. My first Westie I got when I was about 16 because I used to work in kennels. They were boarding kennels and they used to breed and show Westies. And this is where I got the idea that all breeders were wonderful and all puppies were born in cosy little back bedrooms with heaters on and radios on and all that kind of thing. So to find out, I don't know, maybe 20 or so years later, that that's not where all Westies came from was quite a big shock. So that was my first job when I left school, part-time job up until I left school. Left school without doing my exams because I was never going to need exam results to be a kennel maid. And that was going to be my whole life until I discovered, via my friends that there was money out there working in real jobs. In an office, nice, warm, cozy office, with a paycheck at the end of the month. So joined the civil service, had a lot of jobs, different jobs, no dog-related jobs. Didn't get my first own Westie. No, I'll just go back a bit there, sorry. I did get a Westie while I was working at the kennels, and I showed her. Had a litter of puppies from her, which was all lovely and cuddly, and and I begged my mum to let me keep my dog at home because there she was living in kennels, and it wasn't fair because normal people had dogs living at home and not in kennels. All my friends had their dogs at home. So eventually my Jenny came to live at home with us. And when I left home 2 years later, my mum wouldn't let me take her because she was a family dog. So I was so desperate for a dog, I got a Jack Russell from a farm when I first moved out, when I got into my own house with my first husband. Jack Russells from farms aren't Westies.
Tell us a bit about their character then. And
what, Jack Russells or Westies?
Yeah, the Jack Russell. We could talk on the Jack Russell for a while because it's still in the Terrier group as well. But
yeah, they are. Well, my first husband was a farmer. He was a farm worker. And we always had a tied cottage with his job, living in the middle of nowhere, all very lovely, rural, until things changed and we ended up living in a flat, which the Jack Russell didn't like very much. So, he got mega stressed and he was actually rehomed to my in-laws at the time because he couldn't cope with living in a flat. But same for any dog, when you completely change their environment like that. For a dog that's lived its whole life with the run of the world, all of a sudden living in a second floor flat, it was a big change and it wasn't fair on him. So he went to live with the in-laws. So he was back living his best life, being very spoiled with them. So didn't have a dog for many years because I had real jobs, 9 till 5 jobs where I couldn't always get home at lunchtime. And unfortunately, about 12 years ago, I lost my mum. And my mum loved the Westie. She had my Jenny, that wasn't allowed to leave home with me. Unfortunately, she'd passed away by then. And when my mum passed, there was a little bit of money. So I thought, right, that's not going on the gas bill. It's not going to buy this or that or the other. And one day my sister phoned me and she said, there's a man round the corner selling a litter of Westie puppies. So that was what the money was meant to be for. So I went to look, as you do, you go and look at these puppies, don't you? And went back the next day and picked up 2. So that was Alfie and Archie. My son was about 10 years old at the time. So we had the chat, we won't be going abroad. All our holidays going forward will be with the dogs. It'll be camping. It'll be this. It'll be that, be the other. So, yeah, that was Alfie and Archie. And unfortunately, I lost Archie about 5 years ago and coming up 2 years for Alfie. But they were my first two own grown-up Westies.
Wow. What ages did you have them till?
Archie was 8. Alfie was 11.
Wow. Okay.
So when I lost Archie, because they were litter brothers, they'd always been together. So that was quite a big shock for Alfie. So I thought he's either going to love being an only dog or he's going to hate it. So I took him absolutely everywhere with me. But when we were at home, he just used to sit in the doorway and just watch the front door, just wait for Archie to come home. So I looked at him one day and I said, can't have this. So I went to a local dog's home. I went to Hull Animal Welfare Trust in Hull. And they had a Westie there, Nasha.
Great name. Yeah.
Nasha. And when I met him, I thought, I'm changing that name. I'm not having a dog called Nasha. However, it suited him and it stayed, as did he. So Alfie was quite delighted about Nasha. And they just played and played and played for 6 weeks. And all of a sudden, Alfie woke up one morning and he went, had enough of you. Don't want to play with you anymore. So that's how we ended up getting Tommy, because I went back to the dog's home and I said, I need another dog to keep Nasha company, because Alfie has now said, we don't want to play with you anymore. So I had to get Tommy, who's a little crossbreed, who I still have. So he was to keep Nasha company and Alfie just sort of watched from the sidelines. So that's how I ended up with 3 dogs. So then I heard about Westies and I found the Westies and Scotties Rescue page on Facebook. It was like 2:00 in the morning, scrolling through. You know how it is sometimes. You can't sleep and you just like, oh, that looks a good group. We'll join that group. So that's how I got Basil, who's my first Scotty. And that's how I met John, who founded the rescue. So I take home my 8-week-old Scotty puppy and everything's lovely. And I've got 4 dogs. And I'm like, what am I doing with 4 dogs? Let's just move on 3 years. And I now have 11 dogs.
Wow.
They're John's and mine. They're not just all mine, But I came over to Liverpool. I was living in Yorkshire at the time. Complete with 4 dogs, moved in with John's 5 dogs, lost my 2 Westie boys, and we now have 11 dogs. So that's dog maths for you. And the joys of having a rescue and meeting dogs that you really can't bring yourself to part with.
Yeah. Do you find that more with you keep the more senior dogs than the puppy ones, would you say? Or is it a mix that you keep?
We had a Scotty girl come in and she was pregnant when she came in. We didn't know it. And the breeders obviously didn't know it or we wouldn't have got her. Because our main aim, for want of a better word, because I can't think of the word and I'm hoping you'll edit this bit out. Our thing is John started the rescue to rehome the breeding girls. He used to show boxers. Oh. And one day he said to someone, well, what happens to these girls when they finish breeding? And it's not always pleasant. They don't always end up in the best homes. So John said, right, fine. He says, I can do this. And that's how he started in rescue, because he didn't want to see these girls go off to maybe perhaps not the best homes. Mm-hmm. So boxers got a little bit much for him going forward, and he got himself a Westie. So she wasn't a rescue, but then he started rescuing the Westie girls from the poppy farms in Wales. Wow. Okay. That's how he started. Mm-hmm. And we don't deal with poppy farms, we deal with breeders. But what we do is, if we help them rehome any puppies, we insist that we get the breeding girls to rehome as well. So that cuts their breeding careers short.
Right.
And going back to what you actually asked me, it's those girls that are the hardest to part with, because they come in here and we try and get them out as quickly as we can so that it's less unsettling for them. What we don't want is them to get settled here and then have to go and get settled again somewhere else. So it's a very traumatic time for them, coming from wherever they've been. We give them a check over, we make sure they're okay. We generally keep them overnight just to make sure that they're okay. We do line up homes before the girls come in. That's mostly to make sure we don't keep them. But we do have homes in place. We kind of get an idea of what the dogs are like. We've got people's application forms. We look at all that and then match the dogs to the right homes. But with having them overnight, we've got our own dogs, obviously, so we see what they're like with other dogs. If they're not good with other dogs, which generally they are because they've lived with others, then obviously we wouldn't place them in with a family that had other dogs. That kind of thing. We can look for that. Any particularly nervous dogs, we just make sure they're going to the right homes. So we did have a Scotty girl that came into us. She got returned because apparently she had an ear infection. Yeah. She was picked up one day, had a phone call from the people the following day to say she'd had the girl at the vet's and she had an ear infection. And so I said, right, bring her back, because she didn't want this Scotty, and she still lives here. I said to John, John took her straight to our vet. There's nothing wrong with her ear. And I said, if she's got this ear infection that even the vet can't find, she'd better stay. And she did. She's still here. But puppies, we had a girl come in and she was pregnant. Going back to that, sorry. And she was so thin, we couldn't put her out in a home straight away. We wanted to make sure she was properly okay, you know. So we kept her, fed her up, and she was quite happy, a little bit thin. So we thought she'll be all right in a couple of weeks. Friendly little thing. And then all of a sudden she went from skinny to not skinny quite suddenly. So probably about 6 weeks later, she produced a lovely litter of 6 puppies. So obviously you can't look after puppies for 8 weeks and not keep one or 2.
It'd be rude not to, wouldn't it?
Absolutely. They were my babies, and I was so lucky because Mum let me sit with her while the puppies were born. She was quite happy. She came in and she sort of latched onto us. She was like, I'm in a safe place here.
Yeah.
So pups were born. 2 stayed, but when funnily enough, we were being overrun with Scotties because John's a Westie person. And, from having gone to however many Westies we had, because you lose count every now and again, and sometimes you just got to sit back and just go, right. We were down to 2 Westies and we were being overrun with Scotties.
Okay.
So I'd lost my 2 Westie boys fairly close together. John had said to me, would you like another Westie? And I said, no, it'll feel too much like I'm replacing my boys.
Yeah.
So when the pups were born, I said to him, you know how you asked if I wanted another Westie? And I said, well, can we have Scotty instead? So we kept the 2 Scotty girls. However, we then had a litter of Westies come in to rescue. And John had originally offered a Westie. And we're down to 2 Westies. So we must have been absolutely crazy, but we kept 2 of the Scotties and we took on a Westie puppy the same age at the same time.
Wow.
For our own little family. So the 3 girls, everybody says don't keep 2 girls from the same litter together, and completely understand why. But we've got a very good pack structure with our own dogs, and we've got the lead girls. The boys are just like, they do what the girls tell them, and we've got the girls that are in charge. So obviously, if there'd been, we did agree, any problems, and the pup that's causing the problems goes. But the 3 puppies together, they were like Centrinian girls crossed with Cray twins, kind of in a constant game of rugby. like they were taking illegal substances. They were just, and they started tormenting our older girls. So unfortunately, one of the Scotty girls, she was the instigator. She had to go, but she's gone to a lovely home locally. So I still hear from all the mums that have got the Scotties, which is lovely. We still have our Heidi Westie. She managed to not get, what's the word I want to use? I'm not going to say what I want to say, but she's still here. She didn't get evicted. So
rehomed, shall we say?
that's the word, yeah. That's the word I was looking for, yes. So we've been really lucky. She's been on a very well-known pet store chain's website doing some modelling.
Really?
Has one of our Scotty boys. He was the first one.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. So I was out with my friend one night. We've got a brilliant dog trainer locally. Gilbert, I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, Gilbert Git, we call him, because that's what he is. His name's Gilbert, shortened to Git.
Okay.
So he went to puppy classes, loved his puppy classes, and he was so good. He was really good. And one day I was out with my friends one night, and, we'd had a couple of classes, as you do, sort of thing. And I see a Facebook post, and my dog trainer has put a shout out for a well-behaved dog for a photo shoot. And I'm like, yeah, Gilbert can do that. So I sent a message. I then had an email from a modelling agency. And on the Monday, I had a phone call, by which time I was going, oh, yeah, I do remember that. But I didn't actually think anything would come of this. And by Tuesday morning, he was on a photo shoot. And I think about a fortnight later, all his photos were all over the website. So that was brilliant. Good publicity for the rescue.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
They won't push our rescue. They won't promote our rescue because that's not what they do. However, we can use that for publicity. We can say, look at our dogs. This is, and it just gets us, the rescue, some publicity. It's good for that. Dogs obviously enjoy it. Otherwise they wouldn't do it. It's great fun. And then one day he had so much fun. They actually came back and they said, have you got any more dogs? Well, they knew we had more dogs because I told her this, but she says, have you got any suitable dogs? So our Chloe, our old Westie, who is a rescue, she's on there too.
Awesome.
So yeah, it is. So our Chloe, who plods around, is sat looking fantastic on this website with her photos. She was rescued from a puppy farm along with her sister. She's almost 11 now. So she'd had a bit of a tough start to life. So she's gone from a rags to riches type thing, She's now a superstar, model.
Does she have a red carpet going from her bed to her bowls?
She would if she could, but everybody else would be on it. So,
and
they'd all want a red carpet.
Yeah, having the paparazzi taking pictures of her as she's strolling along.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely.
Great.
Yeah, she's all up for that. Yeah.
So you've got a couple of A-lister dogs within the household. Great.
We have, yeah, we've got 3. Awesome. So Heidi, the Westie puppy, she recently I took her down to London for a shoot with a dog food company who used her for their social media.
Oh, right.
Which was
brilliant.
So I'm assuming I'm not allowed to say who, so I won't,
What was it, a raw feeding company or was it a kibble company? Was it?
It wasn't a raw feeding company. It was a company that uses a Westie as their logo.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
I mean, edit what you want out of that. It's. I'm not,
yeah, we'll leave that there for the time being.
Yeah, leave that there. Yeah, our dogs are all raw fed, so
brilliant, awesome, excellent.
Yeah, so that's how I got where I am now.
Great, excellent. So, if you don't mind, if we can just circle back to the process, because I know I think there's 2 different processes for adopting dogs compared to the US and the UK. So if you could just explain to us about the process that you sort of recommend and you actually request people to go through. How does that look like?
Right, ours is slightly different to a lot of dog rescues. We have a Facebook page. As I say, all the dogs come into our house. People join the Facebook page. If they would like to apply for a dog, they ask for an application form. And we send the application form out. It's a pretty standard application, dogs, kids, the usual sort of, what experience have you got, that type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I've lost my train of thought there. Sorry.
No, that's okay. Yeah, just okay. The application process.
The application form. Okay.
Yeah.
So until you've got an application form in with us, you can't apply for a dog. So when we know the dogs are coming in, we will put the details on our Facebook page. We'll put an age. All dogs are collected from Liverpool. We'll put as much details as we know about the dog, and we will ask for interested people with a form in to apply for the dogs. So we then look at the post, and then we pull out all the application forms of everybody that's applied for this particular dog. So there's no waiting list as such. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter if your form was in last week, if it was in 2 years ago. We do hold all the forms indefinitely. Some people aren't ready for a dog when they apply, but that's fine. We just hold on to the form. They might have just lost a dog or something like that. And they do know that they'll want another one, but they don't know when. So we say, that's fine. Put your form in. When you're ready, shout.
Yeah.
And we look at all the forms, match the dogs up with the homes, and that's basically how we do it.
Do you also do check references, or do you have a face-to-face? Do you actually go and see their houses or their flats that they're living in? The applicants?
It depends. We do take up references. We don't always take up personal references. You generally get a gut feeling for people, and we'll speak with people on the phone. If need be, we'll take up a vet's reference. We do obviously work on the application forms. We do like to speak to people, and you get a feeling about people, mm-hmm. and they'll tell you about dogs they've had before, what they've done, that kind of thing. Yeah. Also, we Facebook stalk them, and they all know we do that because obviously we want our dogs to go to the best homes.
Of course, yeah.
So we will look at we don't vet people as such. It's a closed Facebook group. However, not everybody gets in. You can apply to get into the Facebook group. I think you've applied today, have you?
I have, yeah.
Yeah, you got in. But, if we'll sometimes look at somebody's Facebook profile and we'll think, really don't think they'd be suitable mm-hmm. for whatever reason.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe no dog connections or anything like that. We'll look for a Westie connection particularly, certainly look for dog connections. If somebody's got a closed profile and absolutely nothing on it, they don't get in. We like to know that they're doggy people.
That's fair enough, absolutely, because it's so important, It's so important.
Of course it is.
Yeah.
Of course it is. Yeah, we want people who love dogs, particularly Westies. However, if somebody's never had a Westie before, we don't say you're not having one. Mm-hmm. We don't discriminate on age. We find that retired people have a lot more time for dogs. Mm-hmm. They're at home more. Equally, we don't discriminate against people that work because people have to work. I've had dogs and worked. We don't say, well, you're at work, you're not having one of our dogs. Or however, somebody that's on long shifts and is not going to be at home an awful lot, then they're not suitable for a puppy. But they might be suitable for an older dog. Sometimes we get older dogs. Not very often, but usually in sad circumstances. An older dog we quite often get if somebody's passed or ill or something like that, which is always really sad. That's really awful.
Yeah.
So it's different dogs for different people, isn't it? But as I say, we certainly don't discriminate. We recently rehomed a puppy to a 70-year-old lady who was absolutely ecstatic, but she's got family support. She's got family around the corner. She knows she's always got us as backup. Very fit and healthy and active lady. So why shouldn't she have a puppy?
Absolutely.
Some people might disagree with that, but each each applicant is looked on, it's a case by case. We don't stop people having a dog because they live in a flat. They're going to go and walk their dog. They're not going to, just because they live in a flat and don't have a garden, it doesn't mean they're not going to let the dog out. They'll get more walks than a dog that's got a garden,
Well, that's the beautiful thing about Westies, isn't it? You can have them out in the country and loads of land, or you can have them in a one-bedroom apartment in the city. They're very, very adaptable, as long as they're getting their exercise and their mental stimulation.
Absolutely.
And you walk
particularly the mental stimulation.
100%, absolutely. And you see it so many times in the news, even local round here where we live. You go past it, there's an estate just down the road, about 15 minutes down the road, and it's a one-bedroom flat, and they've got a big husky in the front window. Huge thing. It's you could see it's like it's in its prison cell, but it's just common sense. Why
absolutely.
Westies, Scotties, they're great as long as they've got love, affection, food in the belly, exercise, mental stimulation. That's a happy dog. That's a happy dog.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And again, you said it again, mental stimulation. That's so important. Probably more important than the physical exercise at times. They need to be, particularly terriers, they need to be occupied all the time, don't they?
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. So that's a huge benefit as well, really, because they're so adaptable and flexible, aren't they? So
yes. Yeah, definitely.
That's good. Well, that process sounds really, really good. It's better to be too cautious than not cautious at all, really.
Absolutely. Yeah. If we have any doubts at all, we don't rehome the dog. There's been occasions where somebody has turned up for a dog and John particularly has said, sorry, this dog's not suitable for you, and sent them away again, because we will not rehome to unsuitable people. Sorry if you've travelled, I don't know how many miles, but if this isn't the right home for the dog, it doesn't go, unfortunately, for them. Shouldn't have said unfortunately there, yeah.
No, I get it. You've got, like you mentioned, there's that gut instinct. It's like, okay, you've passed all the checks there, but this is the final check. Okay, I'm not feeling too good about you. So good. That's good. It's better to be safe than sorry, isn't it?
Yeah, there's an application form. As I said, our process, the people comment on the page, and we rehomed a dog, somebody who'd applied more than a few times, because obviously there's a limited number of dogs coming in. And we'd Facebook stalked this particular person, and we kind of went, it raised a few questions in our heads, but then you think, am I being prejudiced? Am I stereotyping someone? This, that, and the other. So they applied again for a dog. So we sat down and we said, right, let's look at this form. Let's look at this form and look at it as if we've never looked at the Facebook page or anything. And on paper, it's a perfect home. So I rang and I had a chat with this person. And I said, I don't see why not. I really don't see what's wrong with this person, other than us having this idea in our heads from their Facebook page, from what they were doing, So anyhow, this person got a dog, and it is one of the best homes that we could have said, oh, we're going to be joined by Heidi in a second. Come on, Heidi.
Awesome.
Come on. Yeah, one of the best homes we possibly could have sent a dog to. This is Heidi. She is going to be 1 on Friday.
Wow. Hello.
Yeah. So she's been with us almost a year. She was 8 weeks old when she came to us, and she's the supermodel. She's supermodel extraordinaire. She goes down to London on trains and things.
Hello,
again,
Heidi.
Stuff like that is good for the dogs. We wouldn't do it, if they didn't enjoy it. And again, it's the mental stimulation. It's getting out. It's getting them socialised. It's so good for their development to be going and doing stuff like this. She's now hiding. She's out of camera shot. She's having none of this. She says, am I getting paid for this? No, I'm off.
She said, I'm a star now. You have to speak to my people. My people will speak to your people.
Yeah, that's exactly what. Yes. She's hiding. She says, I've not signed up for this. She might be back in a minute.
Fair play. You got to stick to your guns, though. Now that she's famous, it's time is money, as they say.
Absolutely, yeah. Hi, yeah. You good girl? Are you a good girl? Yeah. Yes.
Awesome.
Yes. So, and here's Daphne. Now we're being joined by Daphne. Come here, Daph. Daphne's one of the puppies that was born here. She's my baby. She's my.
Okay.
No, she's off.
No.
She's not a supermodel. She's just a Scotty. She's just a Scotty. And if you think Westies have Westitude, then Scotties have Scottitude, which is Westitude magnified by about 3,000 times.
Really? Is it?
Yeah. It absolutely is. Yes.
So tell us more about the Scotty. I know that the Kennel Club have got them on the to watch breed, haven't they? In the UK,
they have. Yeah, I think that's because we've got them all here. We've just kept them up. So they're none left for anybody else because we have them all here.
The secret's out now, Sharon. The Kennel Club will be calling you after this.
They will. Don't tell anybody where we are because we don't want them all coming around for our Scotties. We're keeping them all to ourselves.
So the breed is actually safe. It's fine. They're just all at your house. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. That's all. I don't know. We don't see a decline in Scotties. Whether it's because they're not being Kennel Club registered. But then you see we're in the position to know people with Scotties. We know a lot of people with Scotties. Sorry, these dogs. I'm just having to move this thing because dogs have pushed my laptop off the pillows. I'm going to push the dog off the bed.
It's not like a Westie trying to get attention, is it?
No, not at all. No, now she's burying under the pillows. Yeah. No, you don't see so many. However, I was out walking my Wheaton Scotty. I've got a little Wheaton Scotty. And that's a whole other thing, isn't it? Westies, Scotties, what colour do they come in and all this, that and the other. And a young child actually stopped me and said, I do like your Radley dog. And I was just awestruck. A, that they recognised Gilbert as a Scotty, and B, that they knew what a Radley dog was,
Wow. Great observation.
Must have a mother with tasty in handbags,
Yeah.
So, yeah, as I said, he's a Wheaton. So a lot of people don't know what he is.
Okay, so just explain the Wheaton one. What is a Wheaton?
He's the same colour as wheat. Because a lot of people think Scotties only come in black.
Yeah.
And you get people, and as a Westie person, you'll have heard this before. Oh, I like your Scotty dog.
Yeah, heard that before.
Westies aren't Scotties, are they? And is that a white Scotty dog? Is that a black Westie? And we're just about educating people as to what Gilbert is. He is a Wheaton Scotty, which is a Scotty dog, the same colour as wheat, same colour as a Wheaton Terrier.
Wow!
A Scotty.
Wow! I never knew.
Yeah. If we take a break at some point, I'll grab Gilbert in and fetch him in to say hi. So you can see Gilbert if you want.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Scotties aren't just black. Westies are just white. Scotties are sometimes white, but they're not actually white. They're Wheaton, very light shade. Cairns are generally brown to black. And then you introduce the brindle Scotty, which completely throws everything.
Go on, tell us more about that breed. That particular.
Well, it's a Scotty, but they're brindle. Like the black with the brown flecks.
Right.
Daphne, if she could be bothered to, come here, Daph. Come here, Daphne. Come here. Good girl. No, the other side of the camera. Come here, Daph. I'm gonna say hello. Look, I'm gonna say hello. Hello. This is Daphne, who doesn't really want to be in the film.
It's more shy.
Oh, you're grumbling.
Oh, hey, yeah. Wow.
You can't actually see it very well, but she is brindle. She's actually growling at Heidi because Heidi wants to be here as well. They both want to be here at the same time. Now they're both playing. They're wrestling now. So, yeah. I forgot what we're talking about now. Sorry.
The different sort of species of Scotties. Yeah,
Scotties
Wheaties
are very, very stubborn. If you think Westies are stubborn, Scotties magnify it about 2,000 times at least. They're very independent.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes they're loving, mostly they're not.
Okay.
But I probably shouldn't say this, and you'll probably need to edit this bit out. If someone offered me a Westie puppy and a Scotty puppy, I'd now take the Scotty every time, having always been a Westie person.
Right, that's the end of the interview. Thanks, Sharon.
Yeah, sorry about that.
No, it's fine. Listen, we love Westies, we love dogs, and it's just great to learn something new about Scotties. I never knew that before. This is really interesting. So, so they're basically Scottish breeds as well as Westies, then. The Scotty, yeah, of course, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yes, they are. I think years ago they were called Aberdeen Terriers or something like that. But
right, okay.
Yeah, they're Scotties now.
So what prompted you to get Scotties then? Well, was it just a close association to Westies? Or?
I've always had Westies, and I always thought I'd be a Westie person. But the rescue used to just be called Westie Rescue. And then John got some Scotty mums when he picked some Westies up. And that kind of led to him rescuing Scotties as well. So when they became a registered charity, I think 3 years ago, it was called Westies and Scotties Rescue. And I'd followed the Facebook page, obviously. Just bear with me, Heidi's chewing the cable. Sorry.
It's okay.
And I'd been watching the page and I'd seen these Scotty puppies. And I thought, I'm going to have one of those one day. I think John had at least 2 litters of Scotty puppies in.
Mm-hmm.
But I've had 3 dogs at the time. You know, I've got Nasha, who's been rescued to keep Alfie company, and I've got Tommy, who's been rescued to keep Nasha company. And I thought, I can't possibly have another dog. So anyway, John posted on the page, and he was let down by somebody that had dropped out of having Basil, 2 puppies that he'd found homes for. And we do find this quite often. People say, oh, yeah, I want a dog. When it actually comes down to it, even though they've commented on the page just 2 days ago, they then decide they don't want a dog.
Oh.
Which is quite frustrating, as you can imagine. And John put that he'd been let down by 2 people and there were 2 dogs there. And one of them was my Basil. And one of them was his brother. And I said, I want that dog. It's my time to have a Scotty dog now.
Right.
So I think it was about a week later, I was coming across to Liverpool from Yorkshire and I picked up Basil. And that was the beginning of the end. Of my sanity, probably, you know.
I know the dog's coming up, chewing the cable, etc. But that's what happens when you got a house with 11 dogs in the house. So
absolutely,
yeah, absolutely. Never a dull moment.
What? Yeah, no. But as you can hear or not hear, they're not too bad at all. It's generally, once they're all settled, it's generally not too bad. So if the door goes or something like that, you know, it all gets exciting. It all goes downhill as soon as that doorbell rings. That's when the trouble starts. But generally speaking, they're not too bad. And if you didn't know, you wouldn't know most of the time.
So just give us a bit of an idea then in regards to, I mean, grooming. I mean, do you groom them yourselves? Do somebody come to the house? Do you take them to? You do? Okay.
No, I do it because, as I say, I worked in kennels and they used to breed and show Westies. So, yeah. So, unfortunately, I don't get as much time for it as I'd like. And you would never know I was a dog groomer. I don't admit that to many people. Because our dogs don't look like they don't look like they've just been to the dog groomers. Mostly. So, although they don't scrub up too bad when they are. Yeah. But we have...
Yeah. Yep. Sorry, Sharon. Yep.
Oh, it's okay. We have a grooming table here. And it's a bit like painting the Forth Road Bridge. But what we tend to do is I will look at a dog and I'll go, right, you need grooming, put them on the grooming table half an hour before my back gives out or something. And so I put the dog down. And when I go to pick them up again after a coffee and all the rest of it, you know, I can't find that dog. So I go, oh, you know what? And I start on a new one. And so they're all in a kind of state of like just about groomed. Some of them have good faces, some of them have good legs, depending on which bit they didn't mind brushing at that time, or where I got to the last time. And quite often, if I've done somebody's face, by the time I pick them up again 6 weeks later, they need that doing again. So their face always looks good, but the rest of them's kind of... get there. We muddle through, but it is a bit like painting the fourth row bridge with grooming.
So they're also that each individual are sort of different phases of completed grooming.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah. Gilbert's not usually too bad because he's done a bit of modelling work. Heidi's okay because she's done some recently too. But yeah, the rest of them, it's just whichever bit I can get hold of at the time until either they get fed up or my back gives out, And then we just swap over a bit later on because usually that dog knows what I'm coming for, so they run away.
Yeah, I was going to say to our Westie, he used to, he knew when I was going to run a bath for him, and it was like a hide and seek time, and he'd always find them somewhere there under a bed, for example. He would always do that. But what's it like? Do they get a sense that they're going to get a bath and then go and get a grooming, and they tend to hide, or are they more sort of, well, it is what it is?
The older ones aren't too bad because they've always been to the groomers and we've got a grooming table. So, they know once they're on the table, they know what they're in for. My puppies are actually brilliant because having had dogs before, Nasha, the rescue dog, he was a nightmare. I couldn't get with him, near him. And he would bite. And you're probably going to want to edit this bit out. But when I first got him, he was okay, but I couldn't get near him with the brush. By the time it came to grooming him, I actually took a pair of wallpaper scissors to him so that he couldn't bite me. So that he couldn't bite my hand. Yeah, I can understand if you're going to edit that. That's fine.
No, we're keeping that one in.
I mean, having had dogs, we see so much of it. People have a puppy and they get the dog to 6 or 7 months old and then they say, oh, it won't behave at the groomer. Well, why is it only going to the groomer for the first time at 7, 8, 9 months old? Why haven't we been brushing it, getting it used to being groomed? Gilbert, Heidi, Daphne, the Scotty puppy, Basil, my Scotty. As soon as I get the grooming table out, they're queuing to get on it.
Wow.
Because since they were puppies, we've stood on the grooming table and we've had treats and it's been a really fun thing to do. Oh, great, we want to be on the table. And all right, yeah, we get brushed, but that's okay. When the babies were born here, I bought a really soft brush and started grooming them from a couple of weeks old. So they get used to that way. And it is just a thing that we do. All of a sudden, it's not a big shock at 3 or 4 months old when you start brushing them, And
I think it's easier for them. It's less stressful that it's you doing it. Rather than a stranger.
Sometimes 1 or 2 of them play on it and they go, oh, it's mum, we don't have to do as we're told, But yes, overall, they're in their own home. And yeah, it's just what we do because it's what we've always done with the younger ones. So yeah, not at all stressful. It's just what we do.
Great. So. Yeah. We preferred it as well. I mean, I used to groom Buffy, particularly in lockdown. I first groomed him then, and he was brilliant. He'd just stay like a little statue and just let me crack on because he knew what I was trying to do for him. I was just trying to make him feel better, cooler, getting down to the first coat. And it was an experience for me as well to learn him. I mean, I picked up the trimmers. I got it on Amazon, 27 quid with the scissors and all the attachments, and it just let me get on with it. Thankfully, Buffy was really calm. He was very quiet, little Westie. So sometimes it used to take me about an hour and a half to do him. And I'm thinking, it shouldn't take this long. The groomers don't take this long. Sometimes about 2 hours as well. But it was just so calm and it just helped. He just stood there and just let me get on with it. Yeah. And saved us a bit of a fortune. I mean, 11 dogs to be groomed. Wow.
Yeah, it's a lot of money. I don't know what a groom costs around these days. I'm thinking probably around about £30-40, I think, for a Westie.
I think it's about average 45, 35. Could be in places in London, could be more expensive.
I think it's a bit more than that in London, yes. We've got a friend down in London and she pays quite a bit more, I think.
Yeah, and every 6 weeks, but times that by 11. Wow.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
you're a professional. You know what you're doing, so that's great. So it's not a
Well,
worry.
well, I tell people I do. Yeah.
Fantastic. No, it's great what you guys are doing. So, if it's okay with you, Sharon, can we pop on to the quick fire round?
Yeah, of
All
course.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely fine.
I think, well, see what you think. If we just pick one, like Heidi, for example, and we can go
Yeah.
through her little behaviors and that type of thing.
Okay.
Or you can just think about all the dogs in your house and which ones stick out or what's relevant to which question, if that's all right.
Yeah, of course. Okay.
Great then. Okay, here we go. The quick fire round, starting on the Westie. So,
Mhm.
what's the one snack that Heidi can't resist?
I think it's got to be cheese. If you go to the fridge, they all watch when you go to the fridge just in case. But if you take out the cheese, that's it. They're all there. Yeah. Definitely cheese. They all like a bit of sausage or a bit of ham or something like that. But the minute you touch a cheese packet, they're all there. They just know. Probably because I can't refuse them, which doesn't help because they then know that the cheese is coming. But yeah, they're all there. Pick up a cheese packet.
And is it a case where you go to the fridge and you can't see one, but as soon as you start messing about with the cheese package, you turn around and all 11 are there? Yeah?
Yes.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. The hearing is fantastic.
Yeah, they can't hear their own names being called, but they can hear cheese. Yeah.
Okay. The biggest diva moment. When do they demand attention?
When do they demand attention? When you least want them to. Always. When do they? Probably around food time. We try and not make food time a big deal because, as you can imagine, feeding 11 dogs. But yeah, or television time. When you want to sit down and watch television, all of a sudden one will go, "Oh, yeah, this is a good time to demand attention," And of course, one gets attention. They all want the attention, and quite often I'm sat on a chair with 5 dogs, or I'm sat on the chair, they're sat on me.
Great. Just to go back to the feeding time, then, how does that work? Is there a hierarchy? The eldest, so Heidi.
Well, we put the 2 puppies. We separate the 2 puppies because, well, firstly, that was for their own protection. In case the other dogs tried to steal their food, but that's not the case now. The puppies inhale their food and then they try and get everybody else's, so that everybody else can eat in peace and at their own pace. We do raw feed. We've got one dog that's not raw fed because it doesn't suit him. So he's fed separately because he seems to think raw food smells really good, but he just unfortunately can't have it. His tummy won't tolerate it. Right. So he's put by himself. He gets very excited when it's food time, and he knows because he knows where he goes to eat. And then Gilbert, the young Scotty, and another young Scotty, they're fed separately from the others as well. And the 6 older dogs, they all eat together in the kitchen. Oh. And they all know their own place. Whatever order you put the food bowls down in, it's generally in the same order. But however you put the food bowls down, they all wait until they've got their bowl. They don't try and get anybody else's. They all respect the other space. Until somebody else walks from a bowl, then they don't bother anybody else. But once they've walked away from that bowl, it's fair game, and anyone can go and have a look and see if anything's left.
That's fantastic. Yeah, it sounds like you've got it all under control. That's brilliant.
We pretend to have, yes. Obviously, if we get any dogs coming to rescue, they're fed separately. We wouldn't feed our own dogs with a dog that we didn't know. Some of these dogs that come in, particularly rescues, some of them have real issues with food. Either they're hungry or they guard it, or so the safest thing for everybody is if they're separated. But the majority of our dogs all eat together with no problems.
Oh, great. That's brilliant. Fantastic. So what's their Zoomy style? Is it laps around the sofa or tearing up the garden?
We don't have a garden left because the Scotties have dug holes in it. It's like it's like craters in the moon out there. There's no grass left. We have craters. Heidi and Daphne are quite good at parkour. They bounce off of everything. They'll jump onto. They fly you've seen those flying squirrels going between trees. They do that across the furniture.
Right.
And then they bounce off a wall or anything else that happens to be in their way. It's definitely round and round the furniture, zoomies. The garden here in Liverpool, as I say, it's craters. It's just dust and craters where the Scotties dig. Got a house over in Yorkshire still where my son lives. And because we're not over there all the time, there is still grass. They take great delight in pulling that up when we get over there. They run out and they grab the grass and they run round and round and round it and they roll in it. They like a good roll in the grass. So yeah, I think rolling when we're over in Yorkshire in the grass, digging here, but definitely zoomies around the furniture. That would be the chosen thing.
Right. Okay. Wow. Brilliant. Excellent. So you need, if there's any landscape gardeners out there who would like to have a bit of work to level out Sharon's back lawn, then fine. Yeah.
Absolutely. Equally, if anyone needs any big holes digging, they're available for hire.
Excellent. So their favourite prey, squirrels, pigeons, or the neighbour's cat?
Oh, the cats all give us a wide berth. They've all been scared of. So that happened at the 2 Westies arriving. They soon realised cats no longer came and did what cats do in other people's gardens. That all stopped when I got my Westies. So we don't see cats. We did have a cat that used to come and sit on the fence and like wave its paw at them and just kind of, you can't get me. We had one of those. But now, no cats. Pigeons do the same thing. When we're over in Yorkshire, we've got a couple of pigeons that come and sit on the fence post outside the sitting room window. They only seem to do it when the dogs are in the sitting room, funnily enough. Mm-hmm. And here in Liverpool city centre, believe it or not, we have a squirrel that runs along the back fence. So occasionally we get seagulls. Seagulls are always a good one. We've got a Westie that did actually catch some tail feathers as the seagull was taking off. So I think that seagull was quite... Yeah, I think the seagull's quite lucky that Susie's knocking on a little bit now and not as quick as she was. So, yeah, combination of all three, if they can get them.
Wow, great. And they're not, when they do travel, it's still game on. Doesn't matter where they are.
It doesn't matter where they are.
Yeah, no. Fair dues.
Absolutely. If they're in the car, anybody's walking past with a dog, nobody. If we're stopped at traffic lights, nobody can get past. Somebody will see them. They're all in various crates and strapped in on seat belts and all various things. But one of them, will see somebody walking past with a dog and alert everybody. So, yeah, don't walk past our car if you see us parked up anywhere with the dogs in.
Awesome. What's the toy that must go everywhere with them?
Buffalo horns. They all love buffalo horns. Rope toys. Boys in particular love a rope toy. Rope toys.
Awesome.
I've seen 5 dogs hanging off the same rope toy. You've got a little bit of rope that's about 10 inches long and somehow it's got 5 dogs hanging off of it because whatever it is, they all want involved.
It's a group thing. That's great. Awesome.
Absolutely. But they don't fight over much. Occasionally somebody will go, that's my toy. And they'll kind of guard it. There's a bit of grumbling going on or something. Mm-hmm. They get distracted and that's it. They've walked off and somebody else has got the toy because that's then become the chosen toy, But generally speaking, they share. We don't get any squabbling.
Oh, great. Perfect.
No. Uh-huh.
Right. The funniest, most embarrassing nickname you call them? Oh,
crikey. Well, I'm not going to tell you what we've been calling Daphne. She's been in season for the past week. Don't think you want that one. We've got Basil, who gets called Bazzy. Daphne gets Dafthead or Dafty. Jenny, Rosie, Gilbert, Git Dog. We do tell people that Git is an abbreviation of Gilbert because some people take offence at the name.
Okay.
So, no, just an abbreviation of Gilbert, however it suits him.
And he responds to it as well, so that's good.
He absolutely does. Yeah, he absolutely does. Probably better than he does his Sunday name, yes.
Awesome. Okay, so do they prefer a muddy countryside stomp or a clean beach walk?
Definitely the mud. Definitely the mud, and they love a roll in the mud. They love to dig in the mud. They love to eat the mud. Mud.
Great.
Definitely mud.
What's their stubbornest habit? So you could shout, bribe them, beg them, and they still won't budge.
Oh, sorry, don't know what's happened there.
And you're back.
Yeah, sorry, I don't know what happened there. If they are digging, if they're out in the garden digging, there is no way they are coming in from having a good dig.
Right, cool.
That's definitely, yeah.
Awesome.
Especially if they've started a new hole.
Oh,
Especially
I
if
see.
they've started a new hole. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So they've got a certain depth to go to and width to go to before they think, right, okay, that's done now. Let's move on to the next one.
Oh, they're never done. They're never done. What we sometimes do is fill them in. I've been in a certain DIY shop. Been in DIY shop buying like that concrete stuff that you put posts in with, just to stop them going any deeper, so that we don't actually fall down it and disappear while we're hanging the washing out or something like that.
Well, that brings me on really nicely. You think you've actually answered it, but I'll ask the question if that's all right, Sharon. It's what's their ultimate guilty pleasure? Is it sock stealing, bin raiding,
Socks,
barking at the postie, or digging to Australia?
Definitely the digging, closely followed by socks.
Socks, right? Okay.
Yeah. I don't think I even own a pair of socks anymore. It's if I'm going out and looking for a pair of socks, it's the ones that are closest to each other.
Right.
Yeah. The ones, they're both grey. They'll do. They're close enough. Even though one's got Dachshunds on and the other one's got, I don't know, blue spots or something. They're both grey, basically. That'll do.
Great. So the best cuddle spot, is it on your lap, tucked under the duvet, or stealing your seat?
They like to steal my seat. If you move, you've got no hope of ever getting your seat back. So, if you're wanting to go to the bathroom during the Coronation Street adverts or something, don't go if you want a seat to come back to. But yeah, they do like to come and sit on your lap, especially if one gets up, then that's it. As I said earlier, you get one, you've got five.
Great.
They all, yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. But, they do occasionally sort of creep up on you when no one else is looking to try and get a bit of attention. But usually, Gilbert's usually the one to notice, and he'll come throwing himself because somebody else is getting the attention. Doesn't like anybody else getting attention.
So the characters are unbelievable, aren't they? Brilliant.
Oh, they're all completely different characters, yes.
So we've got the bonus curveball questions, all right? Just for a bit of extra fun, okay?
Okay.
So let's, Heidi. So if your Heidi had a job, what would it be? Would it be Chief Squirrel Inspector, Snack Quality Control, or Professional Napper?
Snacks.
Perfect.
She's definitely a snack girl.
What's their signature look? Fresh groomed teddy bear or scruffy rebel?
Scruffy rebel, definitely. even when they're groomed to perfection, that last 5 minutes,
they're out digging in the front.
Absolutely, yes, yeah.
And the last one on this is: if they could say one sentence to you, what would it be?
I'm in charge.
Good one.
Every single one of them would say that.
Awesome. Brilliant. Okay, that's great. That's the Westies and the Scotties all taken care of. So now we've got the quick fire questions for Westie Guardians. Okay.
Okay.
So here we go. Morning routine with your Westie. Quick walk before work or long leisurely stroll with coffee?
Oh, definitely a long leisurely stroll.
I suppose it's going to be a long one as well with 11. Do you take them all out at the same time or is there intervals?
Generally not. If we're going on a Westie walk or something like that, we have got quite a few people from our Facebook page. Some of them don't have their own dogs anymore for whatever reasons. Some of them do have their own dogs, but we'll always find someone to help us so that we can go on a group walk with other people. Generally speaking, particularly with the puppies, I like them to have time on their own. I don't like the puppies to get too clingy to the big dogs. We need to be able to, if a dog needs to go to the vet or something like that, we need to be able to take them out by themselves. So, a maximum of maybe 4 at a time, depending on the dogs. Try and give them all individual walks. You know, occasionally it's just, oh, I'm just going out. I'll take you with me.
Mm-hmm.
Give them the confidence to do that without needing another dog.
Mm-hmm. Well, I suppose if they're going to be rehomed as well, you don't want them to go through some separation anxiety, neither do you, if they get too attached to the older dogs?
No.
Yeah.
No. These ones aren't going to be rehomed, but yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Great. So, favourite weekend vibe? Dog-friendly pub lunch, beach adventure, or Netflix cuddles on the sofa?
Definitely the cuddles on the sofa. I would like to say pub lunch, but there's not many dog-friendly pubs that are that friendly.
That could accommodate, 11 dogs from the same owner.
Yeah.
Great. Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
So, yeah, definitely the cuddles on the sofa.
Nice. Great.
Yeah. Although one or two of them do like a coffee shop trip, you know, especially with the puppies, to take them out and get them socialised, you know, meet up with a couple of friends and maybe friends' dogs and get them out for a coffee and a cake sort of thing. But
good.
Yeah, I would like a pub lunch, but I don't think that's going to happen.
So when shopping for your Westie, do you go for premium brands, value finds, or a bit of both?
A bit of both. Depends what it is, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Depends what it is. I mean, they get the best food. They get absolutely the best food. Toys and stuff. I don't think we found any indestructible toys, other than we did recently discover that bicycle tires make fabulous dog toys, because they can't destroy them like they can, you know, a little chewy thing from the pet shop.
Interesting. Yeah. That's very good. Great. Yeah, going on to this now. So Westie wardrobe. So collars and harnesses only, or jumpers, raincoats, the full fashion show?
Collars and harnesses. Although I do have to say that, you know, I have seen some very cute little bits and pieces. And last Christmas, when the pups were all a few months old, much to John's disgust, they did all have Christmas dresses and they did all have little snowman suits.
I see.
But generally speaking, collars and harnesses.
Right. Got you. Okay. Now, travel style. You've mentioned this earlier. So the staycations in the countryside, city breaks with your Westie and Scotties, or jetting off without them?
Definitely with them. And we've been really lucky. We found a really good site on Facebook that people who accommodate lots of dogs advertise their holiday properties. So we've been really lucky this past 18 months or so, and we've had 4 or 5 breaks away with the dogs in a rented cottage. There are crazy people out there who will accommodate 11 dogs in their property. But definitely that, especially when the weather's nice and, you know, you're in a little cottage we went to a lovely place and it had a dry stone wall. And unfortunately, Heidi, first thing she did was jump over the dry stone wall, but that was only once. And good job it was Heidi, because she's the only one with any recall. But, you know, to be able to just sort of sit and just look out at the dogs running around the garden and the view and all that kind of thing, definitely a place in the country with the dogs.
Awesome. Great. So how do you usually find dog products? Local pet shop, online pet stores, or social media recommendations?
Our dog food is from local suppliers.
Awesome.
Dog products, we have about 50 million collars, leads, all the rest of it. However, I do still buy them quite often locally, although there are some very good websites that I've become acquainted with.
Okay, great. Now, dog snacks. I know it's you feed raw. That's great. So, dog snacks, home baked goodies, premium natural treats, or whatever they sneak off your plate.
A combination of all of the above. I like to think I was always going to be one of those dog owners that made homemade treats for their dogs, and, you know, they would sit and wait for them to cool down and then they'd enjoy them, but that doesn't happen in real life. So they do get proper dog treats. But yeah, they would also eat anything that they can get their paws on.
If your Westies get pampered, is it a professional grooming, you actually groom them, or a DIY at home, or a spa day indulgence?
No, it's definitely DIY at home.
Perfect. with a bit of indulgence chucked in and some treats and some cheese out the fridge
Oh,
for being
absolutely,
good
the
boys and
treats.
girls. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, like I said to you before, that's the best way to get them introduced to the grooming table. The younger dogs who've been brought up that way, I get the table out and they go, "Yep, my turn." Only because they know there's treats, but it works. It works.
Yeah. Excellent. So the home style, I think you've talked mentioned this earlier as well, but the Westies has free reign everywhere, or humans trying to set boundaries for them in the house.
There are no point in trying to set any boundaries. They have absolute free reign over every single room of the house.
Great.
And if they don't manage to sneak into the bathroom behind you before you close the door, then they are sitting outside waiting for you when you come out. There's nowhere out of bounds.
Awesome. So, dog care spending. Do you budget carefully, splurge when it feels right, or go all out? They deserve the best.
Occasional splurging. I think if it was only 1 or 2 dogs, it would be all out. But you've got to be a little bit realistic with this many dogs. But yeah, occasionally I'll see a really nice collar and lead or something like that and spoil one of the dogs, but then you can't just spoil one. So it's usually 2 that get spoiled, and the next time it's somebody else's turn. So yeah.
Fair dues. Yeah, that's great. Yeah. Excellent. So you're not leaving any of them out over a period of time?
Yeah. No. Again, it's a bit like painting the Forth Road Bridge kind of thing, By the time somebody else needs a new lead, it's their turn again anyway,
Well, yeah, it's like children as well. You don't spoil one and then not spoil the others in the family, do you?
No, exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
Now, favourite way to treat yourself? I know you treat the Westies, so I do apologise. Favourite way to treat yourself, and maybe your Westie: new clothes, eating out, gadgets and tech, or dog accessories?
Dog accessories.
Thought so, to be honest. I thought that's the question anyway.
What are new clothes? What are those other things you speak of? Because no, definitely none of those.
So, what's your biggest pet parent pride? Is it training successes, your Westies and Scotties personalities, or your bond together?
Probably the bond we've got, particularly with the rescues. The older rescues that have come in. As I said, the girl came in a couple of weeks pregnant, and 6 weeks later, I was sat in the whelping box with her, and she was quite happy for me to be there. And she allowed me to pick up the puppies, and because obviously once she'd cleaned them, you've got to have a little look and see if they're girls or boys. She was more than happy for that. I went away for a night when the pups were about 8 days old, and when I came back, they were all in. We called it the puppy cupboard. It's a big cupboard. You could probably fit a single bed in there. And what we did, we had the doors open and we had a guard across so that everybody in the house the other dogs get to see the puppies. It's good for the puppies, good for our other dogs. But having gone away for a night when these pups were just a few days old, having walked back into the house, they all came like swimming across the whelping box with their little noses twitching. They've still got their eyes closed. I think that's got to be one of my favourite moments ever, because these tiny, tiny puppies had missed me for one night.
Wow, that's a lovely memory to have, isn't it?
That was pretty amazing. But I think the bond with the dogs, as I say, having had Mum sat there and quite happy for me to, John's got a dog. She's about 10 years old. He rescued her from a breeder, a very unscrupulous breeder, when she was about 18 months old, and they were actually going to kill her because she wasn't producing pups. So she was a nervous wreck, and she still hides now, 11 years later, having been in a really good home, with John. He couldn't part with her. She was in very poor condition when he got her, so he kept her and sorted her all out. Her hair grew back and all that kind of thing. And of course, by the time that came, he couldn't part with her. But she still hides now. She'll still look for a corner. She'll still go behind a sofa. So for her to come and speak to me, that's quite a thing. The dogs like that when they start to trust you. That's definitely a bond thing.
And it's crazy how we bond with a different species completely. but
Oh, absolutely.
they understand the connection and the bond as well. They love it just as much as we do, don't they?
Absolutely. The puppies, again, going back to the puppies, she trusted me with these babies. When they got to about 2 weeks old, she was still good. She was still feeding them, still doing everything she should. But obviously, we let her have a little break from the pups every now and again, go out for a quick wee before she comes back to them, that sort of thing. She was quite happy for me to babysit those puppies. By 3 weeks old, she was like, "Are you going to get these weaned? Are you going to start thinking about weaning them?" Which was too early. Obviously, we didn't do it at that point. But I said to her, "Look, you've either got to look after these puppies or I'm having them." And she went, "Fine, you have them." And she was quite happy for me to babysit while she went off doing mummy dog things, you know? So, yeah, it's quite amazing. Quite amazing. But then, of course, you see, the pups thought I was their mum as well.
Mm.
They had two mums. They had a doggy mum and they had a human mum. And they were looking to me for the things they looked to, for the comfort and things that they would normally get from their mum. If I went and sat on the floor of the puppy cupboard, they'd all come and sit round me on my legs and things like that.
Wow,
Yeah,
crazy! Yeah,
yeah,
that's beautiful. That's brilliant.
it is. Yeah, that's got to be one of the best. That's got to be one of the highlights of my life, really, having that, you know, that sort of bond with those dogs, that relationship with those dogs. And even up until, well, she still will do it now. Daphne, when the puppies were tiny, I used to cross both arms and have them here and sniff them. You know, don't tell everybody that, but you do. You know, that new puppy sort of smell. And then it got to the point where they would climb up into my arms to be held like that. And even at 9, 10 months old, Daphne, if she's in the mood for it, will still jump up and put herself there, even though she's the size of a full-grown Westie now, you know? So, yeah. So,
Yeah,
I don't encourage that anymore.
you can't beat that trust, can you? That bond, it's so strong.
Absolutely not.
It's unbelievable.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Going on to the last question is, if a brand gave you a free gift for your Westie or Scotty, what would excite you the most? Toys, grooming products, foods or treats, or stylish accessories?
Probably the food or treats, because that is the way to my dog's heart. I would like to say stylish accessories, but this is for my dogs, so let's go with the treats.
There's 11 mouths and 11 bellies there to actually fill as well, so it'd go a long way.
I don't dare say grooming product. I would love to, but no, it would have to be the treats. they would.
That's awesome. That's fantastic insight into your life, Sharon, and for what you do.
It's a pretty amazing life. Yeah,
it's brilliant. I mean, I know it's like there's 11. I'm sure it can get quite stressful at times, but like we mentioned there, just the connection that you have with these, they all know what you're trying to do for them. The ones who are staying, the ones who are just stopping over until they get rehomed to beautiful, fantastic homes as well.
Yeah, they all go to 5-star homes. We're really lucky with the people that join our group. Got so many people giving good homes to these dogs. Really lucky.
And I also love it as well that you're prepared to say, no, I just don't get a good feeling about you.
No, absolutely not. If there's any doubt at all, we don't put a dog into a home.
That's brilliant. So where can people find more about you then, Sharon?
We are on, we have a Facebook page. It is a closed group, but anyone can apply to join. It's Westies and Scotties that need help and rehoming rescue. Join our Facebook page. And we have an Instagram page as well. I'm new to Instagram. I'm not very good at it. I'm getting there. We are hashtag Westies Scotties Liverpool. That's us.
Brilliant. Fantastic. Okay.
Yeah, we don't have a website. I think it's the, I'm not going to say the work you have to put into a website. It's the keeping it up to date. Facebook is instant.
Yeah. Yep.
Website,
totally agree.
I think so that's why we deal with Facebook, because we can do anything we need to straight away without having to do complicated things like websites.
Yeah, and there's no cost to social media platforms
absolutely.
neither. So.
Absolutely.
So
yes.
we'll put that at the bottom in the bio as well, in the description, so people can actually find you. Okay.
Thank you. Yeah, that's great. Thank you very much.
And Sharon, is any last sort of words you want to say to our audience out there in regards to your life with Westies and Scotties?
everyone should have a Westie. At least one. They should also have Scotties as well, but yeah, you're a Westie, so everyone should have a Westie.
100%.
And a Scotty to keep it company.
Yeah, absolutely. And if people are actually looking out and would like to rehome a Westie or a Scotty, please reach out to Sharon. Okay,
absolutely.
She knows what she's doing. As from this episode that we've just had that chat, she's got 11, so she's an expert. To be fair, but Sharon, again, thank you very much for joining us today. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you for your time, and what you're doing is absolutely fantastic. I know there's more people like yourselves out there on the planet. We just need more.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Thank you for inviting me.
You're very welcome, and all the best. And we'll look forward to having you on the episode again in the very near future.
Let's hope so. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks, Sharon. Hi, we hope you loved today's episode of the Westies and Besties podcast. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment, and tune in for the next episode. Now, if you'd like to be a guest, please feel free to contact us on the details below, as we would be delighted to share your story and to meet your Westie.